Alright guys, something fishy, and it's not my shirt. That's already been quite fishy for a long time now. No, the very fishy stink that I'm picking up on has to do with three particular Pokemon. Namely, Kabutops, basically the Kabutops line, Genesect, and the Golisopod line. People have been theorizing that there's a heavy connection between Genesect and Kabutops for quite some time now. And for those of you who have watched my most recent video before this one, where I discuss the potential missing fossil of Alola. For those of you who haven't watched that video, in summary, I basically provide evidence stating that Alola does indeed have a fossil Pokemon. It is just not officially recognized as such on account of what it is based off of. Namely, the Golisopod line, being based off of the Horseshoe Crab, is actually Alola's fossil Pokemon on account of the fact that the Horseshoe Crab is a living fossil. For full details, please refer to the missing fossil of Alola video for full in-depth details. In this video, however, I am going to do several things. I am going to do the first part of a theory involving Kabutops, Genesect, and Golisopod, and what connections the three have with each other to begin with. All things considered, let's start with the older connection of this video. Genesect and Kabutops. Now, looking at how things go, looking at all the evidence that I have up to date, in this video I will be making another one in the future with plenty of more evidence, I can assure you, involving this particular triangle. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. And let's see, Kabutops and Genesect. People have been speculating that Genesect is actually a genetically modified Kabutops. And while this does sound plausible in theory, unfortunately, we have some major gaping holes in this theory. For example, Kabutops is highly physical and bears an appearance that makes it look like it'd be very comfortable in the water and is adapted to moving around on land on account of environmental factors as an adaptation from its pre-evolution Kabuto. Now, all things considered, something to keep in mind with Kabutops is the fact that it is specifically designed to be mainly physical. However, Genesect, on the other hand, has a better special attack stat than it, and while it can be either physical or special, its signature move, Technoblast, is very much special, and can have a grand total of 5 different types depending on the item it's holding. Specifically, the 4 drives. douse, burn, shock, and chill drives. They are called. Their names kind of. Hold on. To that particular little thing. And for that matter, one thing to note about Genesect is the fact that there is a serious lack of anything really connecting it to Kabutops except for general overall body design. And that's about it. Now, we come to the more recent connection, Kabutops and Golisopod. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I bringing up a connection with Golisopod and Kabutops? Well, I tell you, it's because the two of them are. It's because Kabuto and Wimpod are actually both based off of horseshoe crabs. One just so happens to be a regional variant of the other. In other words, if you were expecting something like a Alolan fossil Pokemon, you got it in the form of Golisopod and Wimpod. How, you may ask? Well, simple. While horseshoe crabs are already a pre-existing living fossil, you can still, to this day, find horseshoe crab fossils in some parts of the world. And trust me, that is a very important factor here. In fact, as we can easily see with Golisopod and Kabutops, has actually gone extinct a while back in the Pokemon world, and is only recently being brought back out of extinction. Whereas Golisopod has obviously had some time to develop and establish its presence. So while Kabutops, being stronger by typing alone, if not by other means, is actually Golisopod, only far less developed. All things considered, we are looking at what is called environmental adaptation, which is basically where a given species is influenced by its environment to adapt to said environment so it can survive better in that environment. For example, Kabutops over time developed into Golisopod in order to be able to comfortably exist in the Alola region. And over time became extinct as a result of this, trading in its sickles for a set of powerful claws, and overall increasing in size and ultimately becoming slower, yes, but also physically stronger. On top of it all, as well as physically more bulky. Now, we can easily take a look at these things, and, well, I don't know about you, but overall, I think that there's more evidence supporting Kabutops basically becoming Golisopod over long periods of time than there is of Kabutops being Genesect. And on that note, I should probably bring up this particular subject to a particular self-acclaimed Pokemon guru that I know well enough. So, until then, hate to leave you guys hanging, but think on these things and come up with your own theories. But until next time, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to catch the tail end of this theory, and be sure to leave a comment below letting me know what I could improve upon for future videos, or just leave a suggestion in the comment section letting me know what videos I should probably do next, what theories to cover. But in the meantime, this is Sal Aragon Mander, signing off. Zai Helva.